Hello, and welcome back to another episode of To the Magic and Beyond. My name is Jordan, and I'm here with my co-host, Michelle.
Hey, hey.
And producer Courtney and producer Logan are with us as well. Say hello.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
And we are back with another episode giving y'all the latest and greatest information on traveling to Disney. And one question that I feel like we get a lot, I definitely get a lot as a travel agent, obviously.
Yeah.
But I feel like Michelle definitely has a lot of people ask her for tips and tricks on if they're going to Disney. And I feel like one of the biggest question marks deals with the subject of transportation.
Beep, beep.
Beep, beep.
Yeah.
That's
what Orlando traffic is.
Yeah.
Beep, beep. Me.
So we wanted to kind of give y'all an episode going over transportation for Disney World, the various options that you can have. So if you guys are planning your trips, going there, you kind of have an idea of what to be looking for.
Yeah, I mean, depends on. So I would say the first thing is, are you flying or driving?
Yep. That's
so
a big
let's say
thing.
We're flying, because you guys just did.
Yes.
Actually.
Yep.
And so you fly into MCO.
Yep.
Most people. You can fly into Sanford.
Yeah,
but
you're
most
gonna have
people
a bit
don't.
more of a drive. Usually recommend flying into MCO in Orlando,
Especially if
you
you're
can.
gonna Uber or Lyft.
Yes.
Because Sanford, that would be pricier.
Yeah, any transportation option is going to be a little more pricier if you're coming from Sanford.
Yeah.
So not impossible if that's like your cheapest flight by a lot.
Exactly.
You've got options, but we're going to kind of give you more of the basics if you were coming from the Orlando airport specifically.
So if you fly in, there used to be a thing called Magical Express,
Which was
pre-COVID. and as with everything else that happened, I don't know that it was really free.
You're right.
I'm
really
hesitant.
free?
I'm hesitant to think anything at Disney's really free.
It's
but
built in.
It was built in.
Built in, included in
It was
your price.
included in my price. And now the price has gone up and that's not included. So we did lose it. But Mears Connect.
Yeah.
Right?
You've
can
got
book that.
Couple different options if you're coming from the airport. One of them is a company called Mears, which is a big bus kind of charter bus company. They have a special branch from the Orlando airport called Mears Connect. And essentially you're going to meet at the Mears Connect desk, and they're going to put you on a charter bus once you get there. You might have to wait a little bit, give or take, because they do try to fill the buses up. But they'll take your luggage. One way this really helps a lot of families is you don't have to have a car seat to go on the charter buses. So if you don't want to travel with a car seat for your kids, for the Ubers or things like that, this is a great way that you can travel without those and still get your kids safely from place to place. But yeah, so it's just a charter bus system. They'll take you round trip airport to your Disney resort, and then from Disney resort back whenever you're flying. Pretty reasonable pricing. It's like $13 per person for one way. Kids are cheaper. If your kids are under 3, they're free, so they follow kind of the same guidelines as Disney on that. But it's a really reliable transportation.
Well, I think it's the
same company
that handled it for Magical Express. It's not going to say that. The update that I will give on that, if you're flying Southwest, and it's only Southwest.
Yes.
Back in the day, you could check your luggage, like they would pick your luggage up at the airport. They're not doing that. Yeah. That's out. But now for going back, so when you're going home, you can actually check your luggage that morning or afternoon, whatever time you're leaving. It's a couple hours before you're leaving.
They'll let you know,
and they'll tell you what time to do that, and then it checks it all the way. So when you get to the airport, you're never going to see your luggage.
You won't see that luggage until you get back home.
Until you're back home.
Hopefully.
So for us, Nashville, and you're going to hope that it's there when you get back. But it's nice, and we were actually with a family that did that back in May. They were able to check their stuff back, and so I think that's a great option. I mean, I Ubered. So that would be back in March. I had to Uber from the airport over to my hotel in Disney Springs. And I mean, it was at that time of night, I feel like it was like $54 plus my tip. from the airport to the Hilton. But I mean, it was midnight.
Yeah.
And I didn't care.
Right.
Because it was midnight.
Yeah.
Right. I just needed to go to the Hilton. So if you're going to have to stay, I think, to use the transportation like that, you're going to have to be staying at a Disney resort.
Yes,
that's where they're going.
There are a few of the Good Neighbor resorts that they will run to, but they don't run to all of them. So if you're planning on using Mears, they do have a list of participating resorts on there, but all actual Disney resorts will be included.
Yeah.
There are, of course, other shuttle companies that you
Sure.
can use if you want to. They typically are a little bit pricier, more of a private shuttle, so you do have those options. Or like you said, Uber or Lyft is always a good option. If you're coming from the Orlando airport, you're a solid 25 to 30 minutes from the Disney area, so that's why Uber or Lyft is going to be a little pricier.
Yeah.
But you've got options, so whatever your family prefers, those are
leave it
kind of
at the
your. You could also rent a car if you really wanted to. If you're someone that really wants a car,
yeah. I mean, if you're that person that just has to have one, but like Disney is the one place that like I just don't care if I don't need a car.
As you're going to see from this episode, there are so many ways to get around Disney property. You're really not going to need your car once you get there.
Yeah. But if you just need one to be sitting in the parking lot, even though you flew, you can feel free to rent one.
But you won't need it.
You won't need a car.
If your transportation to get to Disney is not driving, it is flying, I would say maybe save your money and don't rent the car unless you are
get some Mickey ears.
Doing some get some Mickey ears.
Or a Dole Whip. Yeah. Several Dole Whips. Several Dole Whips. And if you're staying at a deluxe resort on Disney property, so Contemporary, Poly, Grand Floridian, Wilderness, any of the DVCs are considered deluxe. You can do the minivan for $199. So like
not
if there's
$1.99
from the airport.
From the airport.
You cannot do a minivan from the airport.
If you're staying at any values or moderates, you cannot use the minivan service for airport transportation.
And that is not $1.99.
No, not. Logan wants it to be $1.99.
Hey, if I'm paying for Grand Floridian, I should get $1.99 minivan.
If you can pay for Grand Floridian, you don't really care that it's $199. That's the truth. So
save up my whole life savings to pay for Grand Floridian one time.
But if you're going if you're traveling and you've got a couple kids that need car seats, the minivans are going to have those car seats. You're not going to have to worry about that. If it's 2 or 3 couples that are traveling together, these are in the Suburban, so they usually have they at least seat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ish, not counting car seats.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So if you're with other couples, you can split that, right? But if it's just you, I mean, it might be worth it to get in one because some large families are going to have to get 2.
Right. To fit everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
To fit everybody with car seats, or maybe they don't trust Lyft or Uber. I don't know anybody that's not going to trust Disney to strap your kids in. Because
you're taking them on the rides.
You're taking them on the rides and you're strapping them in there.
Yeah.
So $199. I mean, again, $199, and that's each way, and that's not including the tip.
Yes.
And you need to tip.
Yes.
So
just like you would.
Yeah. So that's your transportation to get from the airport.
Yeah. And the minivans are booked through Lyft. They are technically a ride share, but anytime you book a minivan, you are getting a Disney employee as your driver.
Yes.
The car is typically wrapped, so it'll be very
cute.
recognizable, cute with the little mini polka dots.
And they're very helpful. I mean, I'm being honest. Some of the like if you enjoy cast member interactions, it's some of the best cast member interactions. Courtney, you agree?
Yep.
Because we do them occasionally.
Yeah.
It's not something that I necessarily do every trip. I do because they're pricier, right? And I'm already paying a lot of money, and I can use regular Disney transportation and get around. But I like to use them occasionally just because they're kind of cool.
Yeah. And so you can use them. They're not just airport runners, because obviously that's just for your deluxe guests. Yep. If you are just on regular Disney property and it's pouring rain and you don't want to walk to the bus, you could get on the Lyft app and call a minivan over and they will take you from the park to your hotel or whatever. But as Michelle has mentioned, it's going to be pricier than your average Lyft.
Yes,
So.
probably triple because they only come in the one size, right?
Yeah.
So they're coming in the big vehicle. But I will say this, Uber and Lyft cannot drop off at Magic Kingdom
in the same
spot. So they can drop you at the park, and Uber and Lyft regulars are going to be at the Ticket and Transportation Center, not at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
So it's just something to think about. And yeah, I've done both. I've used regular Uber and Lyft. I just used one of those back in March to get from water park Blizzard Beach over to Disney Springs, and it was like $6.
Yeah.
Like plus tip.
Yep.
So like pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But I think they're a great option. They come with impeccable customer service and safety. These are people that are professionals. They drive all the time.
Yeah.
Of course, they're Disney employees.
Yeah.
So they know exactly where they're going, and they're, you don't have to worry about them racking up the miles on you or the time, right? I've literally been in a taxi at Disney, and kind of, since I go a lot, I knew the way to Disney Springs, and I was kind of like, where are we going? And I'm watching the meter, and the meter's going up. I mean, you're not really in a position to argue, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And I think I've only used a taxi once.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's your options.
Yeah.
From the airport?
Yep.
I was going to ask if y'all talked about calling a cab, but there you go.
I mean,
you don't got to call them. You just go outside and they're there.
They're still good
Did you
old-fashioned
mention-
cabs, but
Yeah, I wanted to give them a shout out because they're really getting put out of business.
sorry,
with
cab
Uber.
drivers.
Yeah.
Did you mention hitchhiking?
Oh, no.
No.
Would not recommend.
We're not going to do
No
that.
recommendation on
No,
hitchhiking.
and you're not walking either.
No.
Right.
Not from
Absolutely
MCO.
not.
Just wanted to make
I
sure
do
we
not
covered
recommend
all
it.
options.
No.
Yeah.
Hitchhiking or walking could lead to becoming gator bait. So
Correct. You're not going to want to do that,
do not recommend.
or any other kind of bait.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no walking. So those are your options from the airport. Now let's switch gears to, I drove. I'm coming through the beautiful sign that says welcome. Welcome with Mickey Mouse.
Drove from your home.
From
Yeah,
my
drove
home.
from
Why
your
would
home.
you drive?
All the way.
If you're
Cheaper.
cheaper. Flights are expensive.
we're not close, but I drive most of the time.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, we're about it's technically a 10-hour drive. When you get food stops, it's about 12 hours, but that to me is still a doable. Anything
Yes.
that's like doable in about 12 hours is still good. Obviously, if you live in California, you're probably not driving.
But I mean,
But
I know people that drive in. That drive in from Chicago, that drive in from upstate New York, because they have larger families and flights are so expensive. We happen to live in the Nashville area, and I hope you're listening, Southwest, B&A, everybody. It's ridiculous that a flight from Nashville, B&A, to Orlando, MCO, is as expensive as it is on Southwest.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We are flying to California for cheaper than we can fly to Orlando most of the time.
Yeah, it's what, like a 2-hour flight to Florida?
Yeah.
And it's how long of a flight to
It
California?
used to be like $89.
Yeah. Used
Like
to
5 hours to
Yeah, like 5 hours, and like it's costing us like this such a cheap amount.
Yeah.
But so I drive a lot
Yep.
because I'm not going to pay that crazy amount of money. We usually spend the night, and it's cheaper. This is how cheap it is to drive versus flying with a non-budget at the right time, right?
Yeah.
We all know Spirits. You can catch a Spirit
If
deal.
you
I
need
think you
to,
just got
yeah.
one recently. You guys just had one too.
Yeah.
You're going again, and you
Yep.
already had one. Frontier sometimes throws a special
Yeah.
out there. JetBlue, if you live in JetBlue's area, but typically the three of us, or four if my husband's going, we can drive, spend the money in the gas, even if we take our F-150 V8 4-wheel drive, and get a hotel in Valdosta for the night before, so that we can drive
You split it up a
most
little
of the
bit.
way, so that the next morning I really don't lose a day of my vacation, right?
Yeah.
I feel good, I've had a good night's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I just have like a 3.5 hour drive, and
Yeah.
we still have the whole day. And that is still nowhere near the cost of one plane ticket,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. If you can drive, it's a great way to save money for your trip. Allow some more money in that budget for a higher hotel stay, Dole Whips, have you mentioned before?
Mickey bar,
Or just save the money.
some merch. Like I've got on here. Got a little merch on.
Yeah. And one of the perks that I think is such a great thing that you really don't see with hotels or resorts anymore these days is if you are staying on Disney property at one of their resorts, the parking is free.
Yes.
That is so rare.
Yeah, so go ahead and rent a car.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you're paying for the car per
Pay
day.
for the car. But and they did, right after COVID, they tried this $25 a day because and everybody was mad at Disney. Me too. I was mad as well. But the thing is if you look at resorts now and hotels, like you just said, Jordan, they all charge anywhere from $25 to $50 a day
more
for self parking.
Yeah, more often than not, it's closer to 50, especially in cities.
Yeah, I mean, and so you're paying that if you bring a car on property, and you're lucky if it's got protected space, right? Might be a garage or something like that.
Yeah.
But so then Disney realized the error of their ways, Bob Iger, and took that away.
Yep.
And so now, if you bring your car, it can sit there all week
For free.
and you can actually drive to the parks if we're gonna hope you choose not to.
Yeah, we're gonna give you all the reasons not to.
Okay, but you can drive and park for free, regular parking,
also
at any of the parks and that kind of thing. And I
if
will say,
you're staying at a
Disney
hotel.
resort,
If
right.
you're not, we'll
If
tell
you're
you
not-
about that in a second.
and I am going to say this, like for Swan and Dolphin, for example, you are charged for parking there, and it's upwards of $45.
Yes, because they're technically owned and operated by Marriott. They are. You can book them through Disney, and they get a lot of the Disney perks.
But that ain't
is
one
the
of 'em.
one. The one situation where they're still
Yep.
going to get their parking money. They're like, sorry, Disney, we're still charging.
Exactly. So I mean, why not drive your car?
Yes.
Save the money.
Yep.
Spend
You've
it
got
on the
a car there
vacation.
if you need it. And the parking is free, so that will at least be one thing where if you can drive, you don't have to worry about exuberant parking charges.
Yeah. But let's say real quick that you're not staying on a Disney property. We've got friends who've opted to stay out Arlo Bronson, like outside the park, right?
There's Good Neighbor hotels that Disney is somewhat associated with, but then there's also lots of stuff, a 15-20 minute drive from the area.
What's the
Vacation
cheapest
rentals.
hotel you've booked off property lately?
They're really not much cheaper than the All Stars, to be honest. Unless you get like way out. If you get like 30 minutes out, you can find some like
Valdosta.
Valdosta, 3 hours out. So what, like $100?
Yeah.
Okay. So for standard parking,
For the parks.
For
to
the
go
parks,
to parks each
yep,
day.
Yep, for the parks, you're going to pay, where'd it go? Theme parks. Standard parking, car or motorcycle, $30 per day.
Per day.
Preferred parking, car or motorcycle, 45, 50, or 55 per day. Pricing is seasonal and will vary based on the date of the visit.
Based on what they decide.
Oversized vehicle parking, shuttle, limo, camper trailer, RV, bus, or tractor trailer, 35 per day.
That's
And
cheaper.
I'm confused.
New goal unlocked.
I'm
Drive a
confused.
tractor trailer
I'm slightly confused on that, but I
to
promise.
Disney World.
Yeah. And then
Is that like a big green tractor?
let's see here. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else extra here.
Is that what they call their 18-wheeler? Is that what they call an 18-wheeler?
Maybe.
Tractor trailer?
Let's see
Yeah, I
here.
don't know.
Oh, here you go. Here's the parking. I was wrong. I apologize to the Swan and Dolphin. Self-parking there is $36 per night plus tax. So really it's going to be
40.
40 at least. 5-night charge for Walt Disney Travel Company guests, and then valet there is $44 per night. If you're going there to eat at their fabulous restaurants, which they happen to have, they will validate your parking,
Okay.
so you don't have to pay for it there.
Yeah.
And then Disney's Coronado Springs and certain deluxe hotels, as like the Grand Floridian and others, will have valet beach
Yeah.
club if you want
If
that.
you wanna
That's
pay for
$42
it, yeah.
plus tax per night. And I think that kind of covers the parking.
Yeah. So, again, staying off property, you are going to have to pay per day to go into the parks. But, if it just works out that the hotel is that much cheaper for you, maybe that doesn't break the bank still, you know. So again, pros and cons, you got to look at you, what you're wanting to do, what your goals are, but it really, there are so many benefits to staying on property at Disney, but the free parking, one of them, if you bring your own car.
That's it.
So there you go.
So we're staying, we don't have a car. We're staying on Disney property. Let's talk about the transportation to get where we want to go.
And guys, there's actually quite a lot of options. When we sat down to talk about this episode, we were like, wow, there really are a lot of options. But
Which is exactly why you don't want to drive your car to the parks.
yeah,
Right.
You have to pay
there's
every
so
time
many
regardless.
free options.
Yeah.
Leave your car at the free parking at the resort
And it's
and take advantage of
good.
all these options.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
good.
and it's good,
Yeah.
reliable transportation, and some of it's fun.
Yeah, and a lot of times you're going to get dropped off so much closer than where the parking lots are going to.
That's true. You didn't even mention, you pay for parking at the parks, but you didn't even mention the walk
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So
from
if you're
the parking lot
if
to
you're
the park,
if you are driving to the Magic Kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
you're not parking at the
That
Magic
is
Kingdom.
the worst one. If you can avoid
Yeah.
parking your own car at Magic Kingdom, 100% recommend avoiding it.
Yeah.
The other ones, you're going to be in a massive parking lot, and they do have trams at all of them that will run you from like your parking area to the front of the parks at, you know, Epcot, Magic or Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. You know, you just have to take that extra time for the tram. You don't always have to walk. But Magic Kingdom, you have a tram from the parking lot up to what they call the Ticketing and Transportation Center, which is still not the front gates of Magic Kingdom.
No, that's where you're going to choose your transportation.
Which we'll get to those.
Yep.
And then you take those transportations to the front gates where you scan in. Whereas if you take Disney transportation, they're going to drop you off right at the front of that one. So Magic Kingdom for sure pays off. I highly recommend if there's any park that you do not drive yourself to, it is Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Sorry to get you off on that again.
That's
I
okay,
just-
but that's a
so
good point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
assume
because
you're not driving to the park at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because getting the transportation, the Ticket and Transportation Center, when you leave the park that night, when you're really tired,
It's
because
a
if you
lot.
drove, you're probably going to do what? Open to close,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a lot of time out of your day to get back to the car to go take a break anywhere, right? So you're probably locked in.
You're there.
And if that's the case, then when you're leaving, so is thousands of your best buddies.
Yeah, and you've got
And
a
you-
long walk.
And you got to get on transportation to get back to there, which is a lot. And then when you do get back there, you're going to have to get on a tram to then remember where you park. It's going to add, I'm going to guarantee you, I don't do it. I mean, it's been years since we've done it. I have done it, but it's
We
been
have
years.
too, yeah.
But I'm going to guarantee that it adds hour and a half to your evening. If you're leaving at park close.
If you're
if
just
you're leaving
coming in,
early,
yeah.
then no. It's probably 30 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're still at least spending 30 minutes of your time trying to get from your car there.
And
So,
there's nothing, there's nothing super fun about the the Ticket and Transportation Center.
no, it's
Nothing
not
at all.
special.
So anyhow, so
Mickey's
let's
not
say,
there.
So let's go ahead and cover that though. You drove to the park. We talked about that, and then we said we were going to talk about the other way. But you drove yourself to the park. You now are at the Ticket and Transportation Center. You've paid the park, so now you're here. You're going to have to pick either the ferry, which is a boat, right? And and they're big boats. They haul a lot of folks.
They'll take a lot of people over at one time.
Think of the big paddle wheel boat
Yes.
without the big paddle wheel.
Yep.
So you're going to have one of those or several of those that can take you over, or you can choose to take the monorail. And so those are your options to get from Ticket and Transportation Center
To
over.
Magic Kingdom.
So if monorail's a big deal, we actually were just on a trip with a group of folks. It's very close friends of ours that one of the folks wanted, that was their goal. I think our buddy Luke rode the monorail at least, 6-7 times? One time I think he stayed on for a long time. But he got stuck in lightning. And so, they inch it to a resort and get it closer, and then it kind of stops, and then it has to come back around. But you're going to do that, and then you're going to flip that going back. If there is lightning, you're not taking the ferry.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to run on the 7 Seas.
So that's another kind of thing to consider if you're going to drive yourself over there. You might get stranded either at Magic Kingdom or at Ticket and Transportation Center
in a storm.
if there is weather, because both the monorail and the ferry do have limitations.
Yep.
So when you're at that ticket and transportation center, you've got those options A, option B. I think the monorail typically moves a little bit quicker than the ferry personally. So that line's going to move a little bit quicker, but the ferry is a fun experience if you just like a boat ride across a big lake, taking in the
and you're just going to
castle.
want to allow the big thing is know what you want to do, research it, and allow the time so that you can get, I mean, if you're trying to rope drop or get there for a specific time for something, that's going to matter. So now we'll flip back to the resorts.
Yeah. So back to the resorts. We'll start with basically your most basic transportation getting around Disney is going to be the Disney buses.
Yes.
Super great, reliable system. This will be your saving grace.
Yeah, every resort's gonna have they're gonna have their bus lines. If you're staying at a value resort, you're gonna have those little chain lines up front with no fan and no shade. That's right there
gonna be hot.
For your line. And there's gonna be shade to the side and a fan over there, but not maybe not a fan, but at least shade. And then if you're staying at a moderate, you're going to have fans and shade. It just is what it is. And then if you're staying at a deluxe, this is the funny part about that. Depending upon where you're staying at those deluxes, those buses can actually be a little slower than the value resorts or shared. And so you're going to have that, but you're going to have fans and it's luxurious.
Usually do the proximity of how close they are, just not a lot of, if you're in a hotel on the Magic Kingdom loop, like there's 4 different ways you can get to that park. So they may have you share with someone else because not as many people use the bus.
We stayed at Contemporary in 2024 and Bay Lake Tower, and our bus from there we shared with Wilderness. You don't really think about it that way, but that's who we shared with. So I was like, oh, when I stay at movies, All-Star Movies, it's just my bus. I don't know if I like sharing. But it was just the way it was. So that's your bus line. There are TVs. Big, I don't know, 65-inch. How big is that? I see a TV box in here. That's 55. They're bigger than that. So probably 65-inch, big, huge TVs that are the transportation stuff. It's going to tell you where you're going from there and when the next bus is scheduled to come.
You'll always be able to see when that next bus is coming.
Usually posted on the wall of the resort behind the line there.
It's like in that shade. Yeah, it's in that shade area.
You can also use your My Disney Experience app in your resort. If you're in your room, you can go into the resort section and check kind of the next bus schedules. If you want to time it out a little bit better. But they're all going. Every resort will have a bus that runs to and from each and every one of the parks.
Every 20 minutes, supposedly.
As well as Disney Springs.
Which is not every 20 minutes.
No, the Disney Springs buses take the longest.
And they say every 20, but it's not every 20. Nope, it's very slow. And coming back is worse. But that is probably my only negative to any of that, is that because usually Disney Springs is on an off day. Usually we think we're relaxing, except we're not, because it's many steps. And then when you get back, you have to walk all the way around that loop. It's kind of far to get to the buses. And then when you get over there, a lot of times, they're kind of slow. But we still use them because they're free and they're reliable. So it's coming. It just may not, it's not at your beck and call, but it's going to get there. But I would say they run on average every 20 minutes.
And I will say real quick for Disney Springs, if you do have a car there, that is one time where it might be better to drive, because there's tons of parking at Disney Springs, and it's also free. So if you do have your own car at the resorts and you don't want to wait for the bus systems, because that's really the one area where it's not as convenient, sometimes it runs a little slow, definitely drive your car over there.
And we've also taken a lift there. Or a lift back. Like if you're like, I don't want to walk all the way around there, and you just got to walk over here, then no problem there. So I would say they run every 20 minutes. I would say in the mornings, your early entry parks, like your super early, like Animal Kingdom, there are going to be a ton of those that run. And then if there's another park staggered in there, they're going to run a lot there.
Yeah.
Magic Kingdom has the Cinderella breakfast, so a lot of buses are going to run there early, even though they're may not open for early entry till 8 or 8:30.
Mornings and evenings, they pump those buses through because they know they've got a lot of people coming in and then a lot of people coming out. So it's going to be a little bit more efficient in your mornings, but also buses break down sometimes. So just be patient. You've got to, yes, it's free. It's great. It's reliable. But you just got to plan a little extra time in your day to make sure you're giving yourself that extra space so you're not stressing about it.
Exactly.
Always leave a little earlier than you think you should. The buses will run at least 1 hour before the early entry and at least 1 hour after park closing.
Yeah.
So you've got that space. Just plan your time wisely. But the buses really are great. They're air conditioning. They have seating.
Yeah.
It's just a great way to get around.
I allow an hour and a half. So I'm going to leave my hotel room. So if I'm trying to rope drop, I do. So if I am, then I'm going to allow an hour and a half most of the time. If I'm trying to be on that first bus. And there are certain parks that it's more important than others to be on the first bus. Like Magic Kingdom, there's hotels that are right there. There are hotels that are on the monorail. So on a bus, you're not getting there first. But like Animal Kingdom is one that it's easy to be on that first bus. You just, as long as you get up and you're at the bus stop.
Yeah.
So, and they're going to run an hour before that early entry. So if early entry's at 8:30 for Magic Kingdom, I'm leaving my room at 7. Right, because I want to be there early, and really maybe even a little bit earlier than if I'm trying to catch the first Magic Kingdom bus, and then you can just kind of plan your day throughout. Getting on a bus at the end of the day, there's no rhyme, there's nothing with that. You just go get on the bus,
or if you don't have anywhere you're trying to be at a specific time, you don't have to. It's not going to realistically take you an hour and a half every time you're trying to use the bus, but just if you have somewhere to be at a specific time, it's just good to give yourself that cushion, because the last thing you want to be is stressing out because a bus broke down, or which doesn't happen all the time, but life happens, and I'd much rather get somewhere early than be running,
especially
somewhere.
For those dining reservations.
Yes,
so a lot of times people are you're on your off day, you want to go to eat at Steakhouse 71, or you're going to go to Polly. You're going to have to figure out when you don't have a car, or you don't want to drive your car, well, how do I get, because you can't get straight from All Star Music to the Polynesian.
Yes. There are not, the buses typically don't run from resort to resort. So if you're trying to get to a different resort or something like that, you got to be a little bit more strategic. You may have to go to a park first, transfer a bus. There's some work that you have to do.
And that's the hour, and that could be the hour and a half right there. If you're going to, if I'm going to eat at the Lilo and Stitch breakfast, then I'm going to catch a bus to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to catch the monorail. Over to Polly, and that's going to take us. You've got to get a lot of different little logistics there. So, but it's easy enough, and again, it's free and it's reliable, and you can take those buses. Key thing on the buses: if you're staying at any of the All Stars, you're strictly buses. That's all you've got.
Yep.
And then we have a few places that are going to have some other options.
Like many modes of transportation.
That's right. So if you're staying at a Skyliner resort.
Yes, that's the other, you probably hear buses a lot. And then Skyliner's probably your other big mode of transportation that a lot of people love to talk about.
And then you're not going to have a bus to go to that park. So if I'm staying at a Skyliner resort, say I'm staying at Pop Century.
Yeah, so there's only a few that the Skyliner runs to. And what's a Skyliner? Think like a ski resort, like those big enclosed gondolas that will take you up a mountain or something. It's that. They're enclosed. They are not air conditioned.
They're not, but
they have airflow.
Yeah.
It is an enclosed thing, and it's got its own little railway, basically, that it uses railway in the sky. If you're afraid of heights, probably do not recommend. But if you're good with that, it's got its own little path that it follows, but there are very specific resorts and very specific parks it runs to. So make sure you know. We've got Art of Animation, Pop Century, Caribbean Beach Resort, Riviera, and technically Yacht and Beach Club and the Boardwalk area, because they have access to the Epcot stop. They don't have their own, but you can get on it there. And the Skyliner runs from those resorts, and then it only does Hollywood Studios and Epcot.
Correct.
So you're not getting to all your parks.
Nope.
But it's those 2 parks, and if you're at those resorts, you're not going to have a bus.
Yeah, only if
that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, only if the Skyliner is down for refurbishment or broke. Then they'll pull those buses out, and they'll do it pretty quickly. Because, I mean, storms happen. Different things happen.
They're prepared.
Mechanical things happen, and they'll have to throw out a little sign, and then they'll make a little spot for the bus to come and do that bus transportation. But with the Skyliner, you're going to allow the same amount of time. There's going to be a line. They run an hour before early entry, just like everything else. I would say, like most things, look, most days, they're going to start early.
A little earlier,
because they're just going to get you to the park. You're going to get to and get stopped.
The more Disney can avoid a mob entrance, they're going to do it.
And so you're going to be able to do that. And I think of the Skyliner as a ride for me. It's entertainment.
A lot of people do.
I kind of like
ride it.
Courtney's laughing because she knows. She
always tries to find a way to
I'm going to get a reservation at Beach Club, or we might just like leave Epcot. I just want to go ride it. We're on a break. Let's go get on it. I'm just going to ride the loop. It's nice. It's nice and relaxing, and it's cute. They've got wraps on them. Most of them have some characters on them and different things, and it's nice. I mean, you can see overhead of the Disney property.
Yeah, it's a cute little ride experience. And Hollywood Studios, it's going to take you to the front of the park. Beware with Epcot. It does not drop off or pick up at the front of Epcot. You're actually going to come in kind of on the back side. Back by, if you've been to Epcot, like the French Pavilion, a good thing if you want a rope drop ratatouille. That's a good pro tip. But if you go out the front of the park to catch the Skyliner, it's not going to be there, and then you're also not going to have the bus. So make sure you remember.
If the bus, because you won't have a bus to get you anywhere, and it's a long walk back to where you need to go at Epcot. So
at that point, you might ride the bus to a different resort,
like Disney Springs,
ride the resort to a different park, and then ride the bus.
You'll still get there
instead of walking back in Epcot.
It'll be an adventure. Depends on how hot it is. But and I'll say this, like with the buses. If you're on a bus and you're going to Epcot, you're going to get dropped at the front. So you want to think about, it's not that you can't rope drop anything in that park you want to. You have the right. You can walk. Those are your shins that are going to get splints.
Epcot's a big park, guys.
That's up to you.
About it.
But I would say if I get dropped off at the front with the bus, then I'm probably going to choose what? Guardians,
Frozen,
something like that.
Spaceship,
and if you're
no,
on,
I'm just kidding.
That's right.
Figment. If you're going Living with the Land. But if you're on the backside, like Ratatouille and Remy is what you're going to go.
You're just closer.
You're just close. I mean, you're literally right there for that one. And a lot of people do that. So, but just remember those are your modes, and it is a little bit different.
Yeah. But it's a great and fun way, and a lot of people will specifically choose those resorts because it's on a Skyliner.
Yeah. So. And then your other option from certain places is going to be a boat, but not necessarily to all the parks. It depends.
And
so like if you're at Port Orleans Riverside or French Quarter or Saratoga Springs, what else we got?
And Old Key West.
You can catch a boat to Disney Springs. It's a pontoon.
Yeah,
they're nice, and they're pretty big, and they're going to take you out there, and it's a nice little scenic waterway to go to Disney Springs. We like to do that sometimes. Beware again, lightning. You may go by boat.
Might have to get back
and
by bus.
Come back by bus. But that's it's up to Mother Nature, or you could just wait, maybe. And so that's where those boats are going to take you. And then you've got some park boats.
Yes. So Magic Kingdom does have some boats that run there. You've got contemporary No, not contemporary. You have the Polynesian.
Yep.
Grand Floridian, Wilderness.
Yeah.
Both the campground and the lodge.
Yeah, contemporary, by the way, does not have a bus to Magic Kingdom.
Is it? You can literally walk there.
Yes.
In like 7 minutes.
Yes, it's a short and your own
That's
little
a mode of
security
transportation
place. Yeah.
we didn't think
You
about.
can't-
Your own legs.
You can take the monorail to Magic Kingdom.
But it's going to take you through all the resorts.
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
you
What's
get
wrong, Producer Logan?
You just took the one thing I was going to add at the end.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine. Maybe everybody will forget by the time we get there. Go ahead.
Oh, we'll give you a special nod, okay?
Yeah.
It's okay. I can just edit it out. Pretend this never happened and then drop the bomb.
And then he can drop the bomb at the end.
Yes. But yeah, so if you're Magic Kingdom, you're at Fort Wilderness, the campgrounds or the hotel, Grand Floridian or Polynesian, there are boats that run to and from Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
For those. And then one other area, we've got the Epcot Resort
Yep.
area.
Which
and
is a lot of hotels.
there are, yeah. You got your Boardwalk, Yacht and Beach Club, and then Swan and Dolphin also technically.
Yeah, because you can walk from those to the boat, and they're not checking your reservation for that.
Yes. So you can also take boats from those resorts.
Where
and they
do
do
those go?
Epcot and Hollywood, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you're in that Epcot resort area, or if you're just walking around.
Yeah,
then
you don't have to be staying there. Like,
Yeah.
we've actually taken the boats to Hollywood from over there. Like, we've had a breakfast or something and then going on over. Or maybe we were just exploring. Oh, okay. We might have been exploring and then took the boat because I wanted to take the boat. And then I took the
Take the
Skyliner
Skyliner.
to take a bus. So I've probably
Michelle's
used
transportation
all the
tour.
transportation.
Poor Courtney.
Yeah, I have a t. I was gonna wear a T-shirt for this one, but it had a little spot on it that I'm maybe ruined. I'm not sure, but it's a Skyliner T-shirt. I'm the person that bought a Skyliner T-shirt.
T-shirt. I'm
Yep.
sure you're not the only one.
No,
They made
no,
it.
I'm sure not. Sure not. I don't have a bus T-shirt. Hey Disney, make us a bus
Yeah,
T-shirt.
underrated. Those poor buses. They don't have their own merch.
You should collect
line.
them all.
I know.
The minivan T-shirt, the
That's
bus
it,
T-shirt,
all
the
of
Skyliner.
them.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I feel like now is a
Book
good
about
time
it.
to mention one other tiny little bit of transportation. The little ferry bus that takes you across the pond at Epcot. That's a very important mode of transportation.
If it's
It's
open,
not open all
If
the
it's open.
time.
It's
Little
never
ferry boat.
open
When you
when
need
I need it. It may be open all the time, but when Michelle needs that because her little piggies are dying, because I've been looking for chicken tenders or something, no boat. It's canceled. No. It doesn't even have a person over there going, "We're sorry, we're
Yeah.
closed." There's not even a
Just
person.
right.
Walk over there and stand there like,
Yeah.
is there coming?
working?
Help! Yeah.
That can save a walk though.
Yeah.
There is technically a boat that will take you across the little pond at Epcot, but it runs at
It's
weird
an ocean.
times.
It is not a pond. It's
Yeah.
an ocean.
But otherwise, once you're in
It's
those
really
countries, you're
far.
stuck doing that loop. So
Yeah.
beware.
Yeah.
But yeah, so lots of different boat options, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool. I guess Animal Kingdom's the only one that only has a bus.
Yeah.
And it's really
option,
far
and it's
from
pretty
Magic
far
Kingdom.
out there. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that you stay in some of those. They call them the Animal Kingdom Resort area places back that way. But I don't think there's any place there's no place that's just super far.
yeah,
And so the bus rides
all
are
pretty
not
close.
very long. I'm being honest. At the end of a park day, you don't care.
You're just falling asleep on that
happy to
bus.
be on it.
Yeah.
And if you happen to walk up and your bus was there,
yeah,
excuse me, that's that's pixie dust.
yeah.
Like your piggies are hurting,
like,
and it's so bad. I mean, we may or may not have ran to several buses to catch them
Just so
before
you don't
they
have to wait.
leave, so that we don't have to wait. Wait on me, I'm coming.
We've
Even
done
if I have
that,
to
though.
stand
Yeah,
up.
same.
Yeah.
It feels
You
worth
know,
it in the moment.
Yeah.
It's also worth it because when you run, it actually feels better than walking
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you've
'cause
walked all day.
your
You're
shins
using
are
different muscles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Run if you need to.
Yeah.
It
But
feels good.
I will say that unless a cast member is telling you to walk nicely, and then
true,
you should
true,
do
true,
that.
true.
But I will say that
Oh.
for our ECVs, the ECV people,
Mm-hmm.
And these are very needed for some folks, like the ECVs, or make folks be able to do. They're like the little
electronic.
I don't know what it
vehicle.
stands for, but
Probably not it.
whatever the little ride thing is for
Scooter.
people. Scooter. Yeah, they're driving them. They're everywhere. They're like a stroller at Disney. Your feet have been murdered by multiple of those items.
Or shins.
Yeah. So those strollers have to be broken down to get on buses unless you have a medical tag. There are a couple different tags. So your Wonder Wagons, we probably should do an episode on that at some point. But everybody loves these big Wonder Wagons or whatever other kind of wagon there is. Wagons are not allowed. If you have a wagon, you're going to have to go to guest services. You're going to have to get it tagged. And it could ruin your day if they say no. And it's up to them. And they're really looking at it to see what the purpose is
needed,
because it's not just because you want it.
Yeah.
And then the second kind of tag is going to be where you don't have to break that down. That's literally that person's wheelchair. And so they can actually put those in and lock them in. Just like they do the scooters. But just remember, if there are people that are in line for the scooter, those scooters are going to have to go on the bus. That takes a little bit of time to get those on, get them buckled in, and then that does take up some seat options. But they do a very good job. I think you can only put 2 of those.
Think so, yeah.
2 on any bus.
Each bus, yeah.
And so those folks are going to have to wait until the next bus. And so don't be too aggravated when they're getting on and you're having to wait. It just is part of life. You may need a scooter someday. I know I may.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think last but not least, I know we talked about the monorail as being an option from Ticket and Transportation Center if you drive, but there are a couple other monorail options for transportation. Again, if you're staying around that Magic Kingdom area, so Contemporary, Polynesian, and Grand Floridian, there is a resort loop monorail.
Yeah.
That runs from makes a stop at each of those resorts, and it will take you to Magic Kingdom. So if you're at one of those resorts, you've got that as an option. You have the boats, you have the monorail. You can take your pick there. If you just want to see those resorts, anyone can get on that monorail.
Yeah.
So
Christmas time is a big time for if you're traveling and you're there. A lot of people want to go see the gingerbread houses.
Yeah.
FYI, there will not be a Grand Floridian gingerbread house
this year.
The big one will not be there. They're doing renovations. But there's all kinds of other Christmas decorations. The resorts are great. Resort hopping is kind of a thing. You might want to go look at them to see where you want to stay sometime or have a bucket list. And so you can just ride it.
We'll take it kind of a pro tip. If we're leaving Magic Kingdom after fireworks, we sometimes get on the resort monorail because it's a shorter line. It stops at the Ticket and Transportation Center. So if you're trying to get out to your car, sometimes we'll take that because it has a little bit shorter line. It's usually more locals that do that, but we did that a few times when we lived there. And then one last monorail option you can actually get from Epcot to Magic Kingdom or vice versa via a monorail. So kind of a cool extra ride, kind of like we talked about with the Skyliner. The one key that Courtney mentioned when we brought this up was that you do have to transfer monorails at some point in your journey. So the monorail runs from the Ticket and Transportation Center. So if you're coming out of Magic Kingdom, you have to get back to Ticket and Transportation Center first. Then you get on your monorail, head over to Epcot. If you're coming from Epcot, trying to get to Magic, you'll get to the little monorail station at Epcot, take it to the Ticket and Transportation Center, get off, and then get on the monorail that will take you to Magic Kingdom. So just don't forget to transfer.
And then
we're going back.
If you don't walk enough at Disney World, and you're staying at Grand Floridian, a lot of people don't know you can. There is a walking path from Grand Floridian over to Magic Kingdom.
Not as close as,
but it is not a 7-minute walk. That's up to you. I'm not walking it. I'm taking a boat.
No extra walking.
No extra walking for that. And then I would say a lot of times if people will book Chef Mickey's or Steakhouse 71, like we talked about at Contemporary, but they're not staying there. You're just hop on a bus to Magic Kingdom. You're going to get off at Magic Kingdom, and you're going to hang once you go around to security, you're going to hang a right, and you're going to take that path down. And like Jordan said, it's about a 7-minute walk. I mean, if you've got littles, it might take you 10 or 12 minutes. And then you're going to be right there. When you're done with your reservation, you just walk back over, catch a bus back to your resort.
And
it's
if
pretty
you
simple.
really, really, really don't want to walk, hop on that resort loop. Monorail Contemporary, I believe, is the first stop. So.
It is. The only FYI there is in the morning, if you've got that early Chef Mickey's and you're there before the monorail starts running,
you got to walk it.
You're going to have to walk it. You're not going to want to go waste time going all the way over there to come back over here. So
And at most of these resorts, too, if you do have your own car and you want to drive and you've got a reservation, they will let you park there for free. So that is another option if you just don't want to mess with the transportation. You do have your own car. As long as you have a reservation, they'll let you park there for free. But places like Contemporary or stuff where there's kind of like firework viewings and stuff, if you don't have a reservation, they're not just going to let you in to go do that.
And and if your reservation is like, I don't know, 9 o'clock in the morning, and you're going to Magic Kingdom after, you cannot leave your car at Contemporary. They will tow you.
You have to move it over to the Dickens Transportation Center.
Yep. So. And they do know how long.
Or take it back to your hotel if that's where you're
And
staying.
the crazy thing is I can assure you, Disney knows.
They know.
I mean, the Magic Band, there's so much going on with the My Disney Experience app, the chips, what are they, RFD, whatever.
RFID.
Yeah, the chips and the Magic Bands, they know where you are. That's why your pictures show up, guys. Like your ride photos.
They know.
They're
know. Like Santa Claus.
They know who you are. That's why if you do something bad, they can find you and kick you out. So, just do the right thing and leave and go park your car someplace else. And if you're staying at a resort and friends and family want to come visit you in the area or whatnot, you just tell them at the front desk and they arrange that and they can actually park there. And actually spend the day with you at the resort. You can get a resort pass at the front desk. It's not guaranteed, and there are certain resorts where that's not going to work for the pool, like Beach Club. If that's your jam, with that sand bottom. So,
man, those are kind of the main ones. Producer Logan, did you have anything you wanted to add?
That we didn't mention?
Sure, why not? There's this really cool transportation method called right foot and left foot. It just, you move one in front of the other.
Yeah.
I thought that would be an overlooked mode of transportation called walking. I also wrote down a scooter. That's a mode of transportation, but you talked about that. So instead, I just want to ask: is there ever any opportunity to drive the Pizza Planet truck? That Buzz. Sorry if you're listening and not watching, but no Pizza Planet truck to drive.
No. Sorry
Not
about your
yet.
luck.
YouTubers
But maybe
out there.
they could make that a ride. That would be fun.
That would be fun.
You should write Disney and tell them.
Yeah.
It would be a fun ride.
I still
And
think,
especially if the alien's driving.
I'm still thinking that if they could have a claw machine where that was a ride, that would be
That
fun.
would be cool too.
There was one thing I thought of that y'all transitioned so well into Skyliner that I just let it go. But the buses also run to the water parks. And I know at least recently there was it connected at Disney Springs, and you talked about how slow it can be at Disney Springs.
That one's not though.
That's
so
not gonna,
if you're it's not slow for that transition because
It's walking because they make you go out of the security then back through the security at Disney Springs.
But we didn't mention water parks at all.
Yeah.
So
yes, they
just
do
wanted
run to the water parks. It is a little tricky.
and you do transfer at different places for different water parks.
Yes, if you're going to Typhoon Lagoon, it's right over there by Disney Springs. So you're going to take your resort bus over to Disney Springs, get off, transfer over to the Typhoon Lagoon bus. It's very quick. They've got those going. There's multiple buses there all the time. You'll be good there. If you're Blizzard Beach, you're going to take your resort bus over to Animal Kingdom.
And again, very quick.
Blizzard Beach is right over near there. They have a rhyme and a reason why they do it. And then you'll just transfer over to the Blizzard Beach. The All-Star resorts, though, are the only resorts that have a direct bus to Blizzard Beach because they are right next to them.
That's new.
Yeah.
Because we were just there in March, and that was not the case. We had to transfer.
Yeah, they have a little Blizzard Beach sign.
In March?
Yeah, that's when we went to Blizzard Beach.
Yeah, but we didn't stay at an All-Star.
Oh, that's right.
I did see the signs for that. We did not stay in All-Star.
That's why I
March.
didn't.
Where did we stay in March?
French Quarter.
French Quarter. Oh, that's right. I was staying
Maybe
how?
we're
Oh,
in
yes.
All-Star.
French
But
Quarter.
yeah, so
It was
Percy-
worth it to not
Percy
have
being
to.
an
Yeah, it's fine.
all-star. If
Yeah.
you're going
Although
to
I love
Blizzard-
an All-Star.
Yeah, Blizzard
I'll
Beach
take
is
it.
so close to those resorts. It just makes sense for them to have a bus there. So if
Close
you're
enough to use right foot, left foot, or no?
no,
There is no right foot, left foot from resorts to items.
places. Although we learned, maybe a pro tip for your all-star resort people. There's all-star music, all-star sports, and all-star movies. They're all next to each other, but they do have their own dedicated bus now, which is very nice. It used to not be that way, and I love their bus system personally. It's one of my favorite ones.
Me too.
But we learned on our trip that we went together that sometimes you like just miss your bus to your specific all-star resort, and then the next one pulls up next to you. You can use right foot, left foot to get
And
from
it's not
one
bad.
of
Get
the
on the music bus,
and
even if you're
walk
staying at
to
sports.
or if you're in sports, you may not want to get on movies.
Yeah.
If you're in music, you could do either
Because
one.
that's a little
but
walk. Yeah, music is closer to both of them.
yeah,
in the middle.
if it's the one right next to you and that bus pulls up next, you can get on it and walk over to your resort if you want to save some time waiting in line. So.
And if you're like, I know this was hurricane entertainment when everything was closed. The parks were closed rather on the day after the hurricane for cleanup. The resorts did open back up, and so one of the things that we did last October was we were staying at All Star Music, and so we just went and looked at the gift shops at the other two,
Aw, there you
and
go.
we could go see what the other two had
Yeah.
for entertainment or whatever. And so, you can do that. And you can walk foot transportation, producer Logan, between Port Orleans Riverside and French Quarter.
Yep.
So if you want beignets and you're staying at Riverside, you just walk on over and get the beignets and walk back. We've done that.
There you go. So lots of right foot, left foot transportation options.
Exactly.
Thank
I
you
wanted
for
to make
thinking
sure we
of that.
touched on that.
Yeah. Did you have any other questions?
No, just gonna work on that Pizza Planet truck.
Courtney, did we have anything that you thought of
Segways.
I
that
don't
we
think so. I think
missed?
y'all covered it all.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about scooter and bike.
Well, they
There's
have
some
they have
others,
are they called Surrey bikes? How do you say that?
The things
little-
on the boardwalk.
Yeah, where you can rent them, and Port Orleans.
Probably close to what you said. I don't know.
Probably close to what I said. So it's like a
Little tour.
giant bike, a touring
Yeah.
bike. I don't know.
They just take you on the boardwalk
carriages.
and back. But
Don't hitchhike.
Don't hitchhike. Oh, one mode of transportation we didn't talk about, but it's just for fun, and that's you can do carriage rides
oh
over at Port Orleans.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
They have carriage rides there.
Yep.
Not done one, but you can do them.
Yeah, I've never done it either.
It's extra.
So as you guys can see, there are so many different ways to get around Disney. All of them free. So if you're staying on site, why not use it? If you're staying at some of the Good Neighbor resorts, they sometimes have bus options that run to the parks. That's maybe one other thing we didn't touch on, but a lot of times they cost extra money and or they have very limited bus schedules.
And they also do not drop off and pick up
Right.
at the same place
They have
the Disney buses
different
do.
areas. So you do have that. Forgot to mention that. But so many great options depending on the resort you're staying at. Check in, know your plan, know what you want to ride, what you want to hit, allow for time for reservations, things like that. But Disney really has done a great job of supplying a lot of different ways to get around. So you don't need a car if you don't want to have one.
And it's one of the great things about staying on site at a Disney resort. It really is, to me, listen, it's the most bang for your buck. I don't know that there's, a value in your vacation is what you view it as. It's not cheap to go. Absolutely. It's an expensive trip. There are different ways to make it cheaper, but I will say this, staying on site as someone who for probably the first, I don't know, 5 to 7 years that I enjoyed the parks, we did not stay on site. And there's nothing like it. And if you need a travel planner, my friend Jordan here can help you set that up on Disney's on Disney property and off property if you want. You can do both.
Yep.
But she can help you. She knows the deals and she can help you get set up.
Help you weigh
And
the
I
pros
really
and
think,
cons.
yeah, and she'll get you the prices. Sometimes they work. Sometimes you're sad. That's just part of the Disney. That's part of the Disney way.
Yeah.
Right. You're right. She'll help you figure out how to do it cheaper and get it into your budget.
Yeah. Absolutely. But hopefully you guys found this helpful. Of course, as always, if you have any questions for us, let us know. We're happy to answer them. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll talk to you guys next time on To the Magic and Beyond.